then yes, absolutely, we're going to continue this project. I want to make sure they're taken care of. I want this house done, right? Because the chances of this continuing on forever is, we're going to have a lot bigger issues to worry about besides my rentals if this continues on for a really long time. Hello, BiggerPockets. I am Tarl Yarber with Fixated Real Estate, and we are here in Tacoma, Washington, south of Seattle, Washington, ground zero. No, joking. So I can't even make this stuff up. We got some cool stuff we're gonna show you today, but while we were here right before we were about to film, we legitimately, and I'm not joking, I was asking my team if we should even share this, but we legitimately just saw a toilet paper drug deal go down. A car on our neighbors right here just pulled up. Somebody came out with a hoodie on and passed a four roll, brand new, never been opened toilet paper through the window, and then the other person drove off. So that just happened right next door. So I don't know what's going on in this neighborhood, but luckily we're safe, right? So we're gonna do two things today. We're gonna go over this project again, review the numbers, kind of show you guys what we're doing with this house, but also more importantly, I wanna talk to you guys about what we're doing right now for ourselves with the real estate market, our own finances. We have a pretty decent sized portfolio ourselves with rentals. We have quite a few projects going on and flips as well as BRRRR projects that are all ready to get started here, ready to finish up here shortly. We also have 2 houses going on the market today here in this area as well. So there's a lot of things going on in our business, and I kind of want to share you guys some of my thoughts and hear some of your questions about the real estate market and what's happening today in the real estate market and the economy in general, and maybe my opinions. I do also want to say that everything I'm going to say has not the opinion of BiggerPockets whatsoever. It's me and my company, Fixated Real Estate, so if you're ever going to blame anybody, blame us. So let's go show this project really quick. My guys are laughing at me that I just said that. So I want to show you guys a quick walkthrough. If you guys remember this house, this is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. I think it's about 780 square feet. It also, this way, has a detached garage, which we'll get into later in the video, over there. That's a 400 square foot detached garage. The play on this project is it's a BRRRR strategy, but it's a little bit more creative than that. It's also building out an ADU, attached accessory dwelling unit. Right, sorry, detached accessory dwelling unit. And that garage in Tacoma, Washington, this area, we can actually convert that into a 400 square foot studio, and there's some really cool plans that we have for it. And we could probably right now, depending on where stuff goes, we were planning on getting at least $1,100 a month for it, which is insane if you're depending on where you are in the market. But here, it'd actually be very normal. Even if we got $700 for it, doesn't really matter to us. It's a total win all the way around. This project here, we're gonna finish up this house, fully remodel it, refinance out, have a great BRRRR strategy on this as well, put a tenant in it, as long as everybody still has jobs. So let's go inside and I'll show you the rest of the project, and let's discuss the current market and what we're doing with our strategies with it. So first things first, on this project, you can't see it, but the roof's all messed up. We already replaced it. We've only owned this house for a week. We still are in the middle of trashing out. It looked very similar to what it did 6 months ago when we were here last time. For us, we're just cleaning it up. So we're spending this week getting this house ready and prepped. We have a bunch of framing and contractors still scheduled out to do this, plus also, of course, our plumbing and electrical. We're replumbing the whole thing, electrifying the whole thing. We got to set up the ADU for new sewer, frame all that out, get the siding all prepped on that project. There's a lot of things that are going to happen over the next couple of weeks on this house really fast, right? We've had it planned out. We've known we're going to buy this house for 6 months, so we've had lots of time to plan it out. Now, I'll go over the numbers on this project, and I'd love some questions on it if you guys have it. We are fielding questions. Nate is watching the question feed on BiggerPockets right now for you guys. That said, so I want to go over with you guys right now kind of what we're doing in the real estate market today. We are in Seattle, Washington. That is where we are based out of here in our real estate world. Almost all of our projects are in either the Seattle area or the Tacoma area of Washington State. Pretty much all of them, right? Our entire portfolio of rentals and everything. We have a 20-lot development that we're doing that's almost done. We have 6 BRRRRs that are wrapping up right now. I think we have like another 5 flips, 2 are going on the market today. And we also have projects that we're purchasing still, right, as we go. So all of that, we're hanging out there in the weeds. I don't know where you guys are out in your situation, in your real estate life. Some of you guys might have tons of units. Some of you guys might have tons of flips. Some of you guys might just be starting out and not knowing what to do and are in a frozen mode. I will tell you this, it doesn't matter at all what your beliefs are with everything that's going on in the United States. Doesn't matter, right? What matters is that our economy is affected. What matters is that people can't get to work right now. What matters is that there is a lot of speculation on what's happening with the markets and if people are going to be able to pay rents, are people going to be able to pay mortgages, if people can't go back to work. Those are all very real concerns that are out there today and things that we should be discussing and trying to figure out as an economic effect. What also matters is, yes, the stock market crashed. What matters is there's a ton of people out there that were reaching retirement age that now can't retire because they just lost a third or 50% of their entire portfolio, right? On the flip side of it, rates have dropped, right? Which is good for us in real estate. People still want to work, right? People still want to get through this whole situation. There is going to be a period of time where there's a rebound, in my opinion, and something's going to happen of that nature. How it's going to affect real estate and how it's going to affect the global economy and how it's going to affect the local economy is one big question mark for all of us, right? Anybody that tells you that they know exactly what's going to happen doesn't know. It's all guesswork for all of us. There's not been a single time in world history that we've ever gone through the situations that we're going through right now. But we have to accept the reality of it, and we have to accept whether no matter what is going on in your life and no matter what your beliefs are with what's happening in the world, none of that matters. We have to accept the reality check of the economy and what's happening today. So I'm just throwing that out there. So what can you do? What can we do? I can tell you what we're doing. Actually, I want to write this out, Alex. I'm going to do this, right? So first things that we're doing is we have our, how much is our cash reserves, right? So there's something called a rental burn rate. Burn rate. And that's something that I had to figure out on our books on our end. If our rentals, if all of our tenants all of a sudden can't pay their rent, I know that, I believe Seattle just enforced, and you could guys could correct me if I'm wrong, pretty confident Seattle just enforced a you can't evict people right now situation if they can't pay rent, which is totally understandable if they can't go to work. But we still got mortgages to pay, right? It's something that we got to do. So how long can I last if 50% of my tenants didn't pay rent? How long can I last if 100% of my tenants can't pay rent? How long can I last if 15% of my tenants can't pay rent? Those are things that I wanted to figure out. I spent the last 2 days with my family figuring out those numbers to see how long we're good, right? One of the things we've told a lot of people over the years, which is too late now if you're not in a situation, is keep cash reserves, right? If you're living paycheck by paycheck and you're investing in real estate, it's very challenging to do that. If you're in the Airbnb world right now, it sucks, right? That's just seriously what it is, unfortunately. So what's your rental burn rate? If you don't know what that is, look at it now. What is your, and if you are personally with your personal finances with your mortgage, figure that out for yourself. What can you do with that? So that's the first thing that we're looking at. What's our cash reserves? 2, right? So if our tenants are, communicate with our tenants. So we've been communicating with them, and we just want them to know that we're here for them and we're working with them. And we're also trying to find out and make sure how many of them actually still have work and how many of them are actually working from home and what their situation is and what their pulse is. We don't want to just hide underneath the covers and not talk to any of our tenants. So we're communicating with them. Right now, all our tenants seem pretty cool, so we're fortunate in that capacity. Another thing that we're doing is we have our projects. So we have our active projects. Active. Some people that I've heard, friends of mine, are really nervous about continuing on their projects with their construction. For us, here's what I know. I already own it, right? So I already own the project. If you have a project like this that you bought a week ago, do I just sit here and just leave it empty, right? I also have a responsibility to the fact that this is a blight in the community. It is also a very good opportunity for people to break into it and live in it if they want to, even though it's torn up and there's no heat in here. So it might not be the most comfortable place to do it. But I already own it. So I can't get rid of it right now. Nobody's gonna buy it right now, as is in this current situation. Maybe some investors might, I don't know. But they might not buy it for what I bought it for. So I already own the project. I already have funds for rehab. Right? I also have debt on the property. So I'm still obligated to pay my hard money on this project as well. So how should I just let this sit here, or do I move on with it? I continue the project, because the other responsibility that I believe I have for myself and my business is that I have contractors. And they need to get paid too, right? So if I know I already have the funds for this house, if I already know that I'm gonna have to deal with it anyways, despite what's going on in the economy, right? And I already had contractors that were counting on the income for working on this project, right? Why should I affect them? And that's also one of the big reasons that we believe in our business too, is that we have the ability to affect other people's economies, personal economies, right? If our contractor needs to make the money on this house so that they can take care of their family, right? And we already had it budgeted for them to be able to work on it. We already have the funds for them to go work on it, and we're not concerned about our burn rates or any of this kind of other stuff. Then yes, absolutely, we're going to continue this project. I want to make sure they're taken care of. I want this house done, right? Because the chances of this continuing on forever is, we're going to have a lot bigger issues to worry about besides my rentals if this continues on for a really long time. If that's the case, nobody's going to be worried about their freaking rentals at that point. We're going to be worried about a lot of other stuff, and this is going to be the last thing we're going to be thinking about. But on the other side, there's a good chance it won't continue on forever. Eventually, there's going to be an end to this in some capacity, and I'm going to be happy when that end is there. If this project is already done and the contractor's been fed, the house is finished, I can just go get some tenants for it, and I can move on with my life, get out of my hard money, refinance at the extremely low rates that are right now too for the residential community, right? So cash reserves, communicate with tenants. Where are my active projects? Where are we at with that, right? Should we list these projects or not? Should we continue business as usual? As far as I'm concerned with our company, we're continuing business as usual, and we're going to keep going forward with our active stuff, the things we already plan to do, right? So that's the thing that I'm trying to say. Now, new opportunities, new investments, new things that we can maybe purchase, stuff that we already under contract with, what does that look like? Should we continue down that route? I'm sure some of you guys might be thinking, what do you do if you have projects that are under escrow that you're supposed to go close, that you're supposed to be buying right now? New acquisitions, right? One of our acquisitions guys who's sitting right here, right? Nate, say hi. Hi. Some of you guys may know him from past episodes.
I'm here.
So Nate, you had an opinion on what's going on with for an acquisition strategy currently, right?
Everybody doing acquisitions? Here's the positive thing. All your sellers are at home. You know they're going to be there. Call them. They're here.
Yeah.
Just go get them.
They might be weird if you door knock them because, 6 feet, right? Whatever.
Yeah, that's
but
fine. Just step back from the door, knock on the door. Everybody's home. Go get them right now. This is the prime opportunity.
There you go. So there's a positive, right? Everybody's home if you're doing off-market deals, right? Just something to consider there too. On the acquisition side, I would say that, hey, there's a lot of fear. There's an extreme amount of fear in sellers right now. Now, with that extreme fear in sellers, right, you got to be conscious of that. There's also extreme fear in buyers. I'm going to say this, one caveat. How many people do you know, Nate, Alex, me, you, right, that have heard countless times from real estate investors, I can't wait for the next crash. I can't wait for the next opportunity because, man, I'm going to mop it up that time. I'm not going to miss out on those opportunities like I did in 2008, 2009, and 2010, and 11 and 12, because I didn't get started in real estate till 2016 when everybody else was. But I'm not going to miss out on any of those opportunities when the crash happens next time, right? Well, if you're living in these fear-based mentalities, you're going to miss out in those opportunities when they show up. I don't know what those opportunities are right now. Nobody really does. There are some opportunities, a few out there that you can do today. Whether or not they're good or not, I don't know. But they're going to be there, right? And are you searching for them and are you looking for them right now? Our radar and our antennas are up, right, for that right now. So we are looking for the opportunity. What's the positive that could come out of this? I know that we're not going to sit there and put our heads underneath the covers and hope this all goes away. I got real businesses to deal with and stuff like that. But we also have a way, there's got to be a silver lining for us as investors that we can either, even if the market dips, we can bounce back from this. And are you looking for those opportunities? And are you prepared for those opportunities if they show up? Or are you looking in the rearview mirror hoping it all goes away? So one of the great questions that we just heard from on BiggerPockets, which I love, that's a very real question, is that in his particular area, inspectors have halted inspections, and in certain areas, it's hard to get a permit right now because nobody's at the building department to get a permit, right? How do you handle situations like that? Which is legit. Now we already had a permit for this here, but we did not have a permit for the ATU, right? But there's still some things that you can get taken care of. If you can't get inspections on your project, right? What can you do on the project all the way up until your next inspection? You can prep a ton of stuff that you can do on most projects, even if you're waiting for your framing inspection. Now, if it's a new build situation, that is a really crappy situation, but you can still do a lot of stuff before you can move on. You can put sheeting up, you can put siding up, there's a bunch of other things depending on how far your project is. If you were just got all that stuff done, like on this house here, despite that the ADU that we have in the garage back there, we can't get an official permit on that right now until basically this all kind of blows over, but I can install the sewer, I can, and not cover it. I can get all the framing up and not cover it. I can get all the electrical, I can get all the plumbing, I can get all the heat in, I can get all the siding on the house, I can replace all the windows, I can do everything but sheetrock, right, and insulation, basically. And I can get all that ready to go, and I could do a ton of stuff in this house too, and that's all gonna take me 2, 3, 4 weeks before we get to that point to where I would need an inspection on this project, right? At that point, maybe I gotta wait. I'm sure you're hoping that in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks or whatever, all this stuff kind of goes away and people start figuring out ways to get those inspections. People get creative with it, and some leaders stand up in this freaking world and actually start getting some action going to get our lives back to normal in some capacity, or at least adjust it, right? People are resilient. That's one thing I really enjoy about the human spirit as well as American society, is that we're resilient. We'll come up with creative ways. There's opportunities out there to help navigate these things, but maybe we've got to wait a few weeks, right, before we can get to that point. But that's a great question, and something you got to think about. So, any other questions? I love it.
You also want to know how much it costs for like a house like this.
Oh, okay. So, well, yeah, all right. Well, this is a small house, but what I should go back is renegotiate with my contractors right now, but I'm not a dick. I'm not going to do that. So speaking of which, let's readjust your price, right? For us in the Seattle area, Tacoma area, if you look at rough-in fixtures for plumbing, it's cost per, I like to deal with contractors, that's the cost per fixture for rough-in. An average cost per fixture for a rough-in is $350 to $450 a fixture. And what that means is that if a tub with a tub plumbing, right, the drain with the valves all roughed in, plus all the water lines, that would be one fixture. That would be $350 to $450, depending on your plumber. Your lav, your faucet for your bathroom would be $350 to $450 for a rough-in for that sink, right? Same with the kitchen sink, same with anything like the toilet, whatever. For me, I like plumbers that work that way, because it doesn't matter if we have to cut in a whole bunch of cement and move shit around all around the entire house. It's $350 to $450 a fixture, period, right? I don't like the plumbers that go, well, that one, we're moving the toilet from here way over there, so it's going to cost this much. I don't care if the toilet's moving 3 inches to the left. If it's $450, I just want to know, right? And I can just count that numbers and move on. It might be a tremendously cheaper for you in your local area, so don't quote me on these prices. And then electrical, you might as well take a dice and just roll it right now with the amount of money that electricians are getting paid in my market. Maybe that changes soon. That might be some silver lining for the investor community, is that construction costs might go down, right? Who knows? We'll see. It might take a little while before it gets to that point. And when it comes back, you might only get those discounts for a little while before the market goes back to normal, if it does. But those are some good speculations. So, all right, so we are looking for opportunities. We do not know where the opportunity is. We have some ideas on the opportunities. I know a lot of people are affected by the stock market, so there are some people that are out there that might have lost some of their money in the portfolios, but have not lost money in real estate yet. And they might be wanting to offload, some of those absentee owners might be wanting to offload some of their real estate to make up for the losses in the stock market. That's just something to throw out there, right? There's some other opportunities out there too that I'm not going to get into in this video, but watch out for them. Think about them, right? Instead of thinking of all the bad, try to find some positive in this, right? The other thing that we're always thinking about is like we have to deal with what is and what isn't, right? And right now, we're dealing with what is, right? We're going to finish the projects up as best as we can. If we can't get an inspection, then we do everything else we can in the entire project until we can get an inspection. The other thing is, by the numbers. So I think Grant Cardone the other day was saying, I told everybody not to invest in the stock market, da 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 da. I remember him going through all that stuff on one of his media posts and stuff like that. So, and he's telling people, I told you guys not to do it, right? We've told people for years, always buy by the numbers. Don't speculate. We keep things conservative. Right now, we're very fortunate that we've been keeping things conservative for where they actually are. But even today, buy by the numbers. I wouldn't be sitting there like looking at numbers going like, well, hey, it could go up and speculate. Well, that's true. It could go up. Rates have gone down. There's still no supply. People stop freaking out for a little bit. The market can go back up in a month, whatever, right? that might be the case. Might do the opposite, might go down. We don't know. So, but I do know this, is that if you, in past tense, there's a great South Park episode called, I can't remember, there's a superhero called like Captain Hindsight, right? So I think Nate's Captain Hindsight, by the way. He always has the best ideas for our projects after we're done with them. And he does have a history for that. I'm just throwing that out there. He's like, man.
I always say I'm very timely, but always great ideas.
Yeah. They're always amazing ideas. They're very timely in the wrong time. But Captain Hindsight over here. So Captain Hindsight here on my part, like, yes, we've for the last few years, we've bought by the numbers as strict as possible. No speculation, no, hey, that could go up. Hey, let's budget the rehab for more conservatively. Let's not buy a ton of projects and let's just keep things for where we want them to be based on the numbers we understand, right? Let's keep cash reserves. Let's do all these things. And most of the reasons why we were doing that, besides the fact that I'm also a conservative investor, is also because I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to have less stress. I wanted to be able to have more flexibility in my business. And we're lucky that we're at a point that that's the case. We also have houses that are going listed. We had, like I said earlier, we have 2 houses going on the market right now, like today, right? Well, there's a whole discussion on what we should list these houses for. In our market here, people are still buying houses, right? I'm just throwing that out there. Like, there's still a lot of people buying houses right now, and there's no inventory because people don't know what to do. Rates are low, right? People still gotta live somewhere. I would be concerned about maybe those high-priced houses, right? The prices, like in Seattle area, the houses that are $1 million plus are high-priced houses. I would be weary of some projects like that, depending on where your area is. But in a normal, like first-time, second-time home buyer type pricing, right? Like in Tacoma, a $250,000 to $500,000 price point is that first, second-time home buyer type price, and those are your average houses here in this area. I'm not concerned about those, right? Personally, but there has been some speculation. We talked about this on one of our houses today. All the comps say we can list this house for $420,000, right? And there's a chance it can get bid up to $440,000. There's only 3 other houses on the market anywhere near it right now, right? I want to be the lowest priced house though, right? So we decided competitively, let's drop our price to $399, knowing that it's going to go up, right? We already know that. But here's the thing. What if it doesn't, right? What if it doesn't? And I get one offer for full price. I'm going to be very happy that I set that price at that price point. I'm not telling you guys to sit there and drop your house prices. Don't do that. That can kill the economy. I'm saying look at your strategy for what you're going to invest your house with. For me, I'm like, hey, I just want to be slightly lower than everybody else, and I want to get a bidding war up. My house is going to sell for way more than $400,000. We already know that. But what if it doesn't? What if we only got that $400,000 offer for it? I would be happy that I listed it for that instead of that 420 part. On another side, we can do that. Why can't we do that? Because we bought the house thinking that we can sell it for $370,000, right? So we thought we bought it for $370,000. That was our pro forma, and we still got a lot of room before we go down to where we actually need to be. Why? Because we bought by the numbers, right? That's why, right? And we didn't speculate on that being even more. Too late now if you already bought the house, right? But
Also
good point.
I would even say keep your emotions in check.
Keep your emotions in check. Good point. Emotions in check as the buyer. So as a seller, that might be another component there. So emotions in check, always by the numbers as much as possible on the acquisition strategy for that. So we can talk about this house. I wanted to go on my little rant about the economy, right? And what we're doing for ourselves here. There's nothing we can do other than to continue business as usual on our part, help out our contractors as much as we can, look for opportunities and stay positive, and see the silver lining where it is. If you want to go see nothing but the dark side of everything and dwell in things you can't control, that is your choice. That is not something that I am choosing to do. And something that I know about all the successful people that I'm friends with that are out there, they have similar mentalities on that. So what do other successful people do? What do other entrepreneurs do? Some of the biggest companies in the world were created during down times and during turmoil-ish times, whatever the heck the word is, right? Tumultuous times, right? So yeah, don't record that part. So when there's opportunity, are you ready for it? So check that out because it's gonna come sooner or later, right? Or not, who knows, whatever. All right, let's see the house. So if you guys remember, this is a burst strategy house. We're gonna go through it quickly for time's sake. I've talked you guys' ear off. I wanted to throw that out there. There's some framing issues on this. This is missing another stud here. I just noticed that, so we'll have to get through that. If you guys remember this project, this is a 2-bedroom house here with the little kitchen area. It was already framed this way, and most of this was already ripped out. We didn't do all this. It's got this old electrical called knob and tube, right? It looks like this.
Where'd they hide the drugs?
right? So yeah, actually we think they hid drugs down there, but at one point. But knob and tube. Our camera guy Alex, who also drives properties for us at times, which we love him to death, came into this house yesterday or 2 days ago and said, "Hey, does knob and tube usually buzz, right? Because whatever, right? Like a beep." And instead of shutting the power off, he just drove away and let the house almost burn down. But
Didn't almost burn down.
it almost burned down. You don't know. But luckily the power got turned off. Whatever. So no, Alex, knob and tube is not supposed to buzz like a faulty halogen light or whatever analogy you gave us. Fluorescent light, right? It's not supposed to do that. Alex.
Good to know.
Good to know. You now know this.
And
Thank
else.
you. And now everybody else knows.
I'm not the only one that didn't know that.
No, you're not the only one. Yeah, I think you are though. Okay.
Hold on, bonus notice. Did you know Sweet Baby Ray's does 5-gallon buckets of Sweet Baby Ray goodness?
Barbecue sauce?
What?
Wow.
Let's end up.
I'm out of the way.
All right, bathroom. There's really nothing we're changing in the floor plan here. This is why we bought this house, because it was actually a really easy rehab for us. It's electrical, plumbing, infrastructure. There's no framing issues. There's other than a few kind of little points. That's a new beam, obviously. We didn't put that in there. We got to get it permitted. There's a few foundation, but it's not foundation. It's a post and pier situation where the posts and the piers in the basement area, or the crawl space area, have sunk in some areas, so we got to jack them up a little bit. But that's normal. This is a 1916 house or 1919 house, if I remember correctly. And we also have the ATU in the back. So let's go in the backyard through this way, because you can't go through the other side. Through it. So it's called a dadu, right? There are some other aspects, like when you guys are inspecting these houses, yeah, there's a crack here, right? So we got to look at that for the foundation. That's normal settling. It's a 100-year-old house. The thing you're looking for is how far is it split up. And the bigger issue for these kind of cracks, are they horizontal or are they vertical, right? Horizontal, very bad. Vertical, kind of normal settling, especially when you already have a windowless situation. I'd be curious to see how far that goes down, which we haven't checked out yet. If that goes through the footing, then it becomes an issue, right? If it just stops on this little foundation wall here, there's ways to fix it with whatever. So you'll figure it out. The other part too is that, you know, this is typically gets rotted out over the years. A lot of water comes down on it. There's no flashing or anything, which kind of could rot out these sills. So I'm sure when we start replacing these windows that we're going to probably find some dry rot throughout all of that because of water damage. But those part of buying a 100-year-old house. So back here we have the ADU that we're going to build out. You can see that the siding is not in very good condition. So we already, when we budgeted this, we budgeted 100 grand for this whole project. That's a lot for a 760 square foot house and a 400 square foot ADU, or sorry, garage. But we had the budget to do it. We budgeted in there, and don't get me wrong, I don't want to spend 100 grand on this thing. We're probably going to spend 80. But we got a good buffer, because why? We buy by the numbers, Nate. So this is all going to get completely resided, and this is going to be the main entrance to the ADU. And I want you guys to imagine it's going to be really challenging for you guys to, for some people, to put their imagination hat on right now.
Well, I have a question. Who designed this?
Who designed this? I designed this, right?
What?
And I got the stamp of approval from our designer. So this is not the ADU. This is what it's going to be, though. So in here, this is only 400 square feet, right? It's going to be 400 square foot studio. And where Alex is standing, so switch areas, is going to be the bathroom. So this is going to be completely walled in. There's going to be a kitchenette over here. It's going to be an L-shaped kitchen, right, in this area. And it's going to have, you know, all the normal stuff a kitchen has. Right here is going to be a door to a bathroom, right, that comes in. Tub's going to be on the wall here, 5 feet. That's all you need. And then on this side will be toilet and then vanity, right? So you need 30 inches for the tub, 30 inches for the toilet, right? So that's 5 feet. And then you also need 24 inches for the vanity, but we could get a 40-inch vanity in here, which would be kind of cool. Right here, so you go through the bathroom door, right here will be a stackable washer and dryer in the bathroom, right, in its own little cavity, little nook. Right here will be a closet. Right here will be a closet for the bedroom. The bedroom's going to be on this side, right? And at this point here, this is going to be a wall, right? That's only going to be a 6-foot wall. I'm 6'2", right? So that way it's going to be an open area. This will be the bedroom where the bed is. There'll be a little walkway right here. And it'll be kind of like, it'll allow for more lighting and more openness by not putting the wall straight up for the bedroom. We're going to put a beautiful French door right here in this area. So a big double French door that opens up to a private yard for the ADU. So you got living room, bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, right? And it's all open space, big windows, right? Big French doors, full glass, nice window. It's going to feel very bright and a lot bigger because of those subtle marks. I can't wait to show you guys what this is going to look like when we're all done in a few months, depending on the market and what happens with our inspections, which is a great point. We do have to cut in sewer, right? So that's some of the things that we got to do. That's going to hold us up a little bit. We got to get our sewer lines that way by the house. We have to trench it, cut into this concrete. That's one of the problems with finishing out a garage is you have a solid concrete foundation here, or slab. We're going to have to cut and trench to get sewer to the toilet, to the tub over there, way over here. So toilet, tub, vanity, kitchen sink. And the only downside to our design is that all our sewer and water is as far away as it could be from where the sewer actually is, which goes to the street that way. So that's the only downside to our design.
Do you have a cost estimate for that?
No. So actually we have bids on it from our sewer company and stuff like that. But the way we get it cheaper is that we have our demo guys cut out the actual concrete itself. And we don't have bids for that part yet, but it's usually just labor. And our sewer company is still getting us a bid for that part to be it. But it's going to be worth it to us, so we don't care. We'll get it done. In the back here, we have a nice big yard. I want to make this as private as possible, so we're going to build wood fence all the way around this here to make it more private. But we're also going to close off part of this area here and segment this yard. So we're going to segment it by building a fence, kind of like this area. Like basically, we're going to cut a fence like this here, and this becomes the yard for this, and all of this becomes the yard for the other house, including this area here too. So they'll have their own private yard in this ADU. They'll have their own private backyard, so just in case the two tenants don't like each other in some way, right? You can also Airbnb it, but I don't have the business system for that, and I don't have the patience for that in our business to do it, so we probably aren't going to do it. Unless, Nate, you want to run our Airbnb for us? No? Yes?
I'll give you a very reasonable rate.
Yeah.
Property management.
50% of everything.
More like 70. I have a question for Brian.
Yeah.
Key Spring.
Brian Spring, what's up, Brian?
Honors is lead paint or asbestos abatement on a 100-year-old rehab. How often do we encounter that?
Not very often, because asbestos isn't as common as people think. The most asbestos is in cement siding, cement asbestos board, cab. If the cement board is totally fine, then there's no need to replace it. The only other areas where a lot of asbestos is a lot of times those popcorn ceiling areas. We had a house that we demoed on our 20-lot development in Lakewood that was an 1898 house or something like that. It was totally messed up. It's not like we killed something historic. The thing was like falling down already, and nobody lived in it. And we had to get a asbestos report on the entire project. The entire house, the only place where there was any asbestos was the caulking around the windows, and that was it. So it's not as common as people think, right? But it can be very expensive depending on if the severity of it and how much there is. And there are some affordable ways to help take care of asbestos that you can encapsulate it, right? There's now a cement asbestos board, which is the siding, is probably the most common thing we see. But if you're not replacing the siding and it's all in good condition, then I wouldn't touch it. But we've spent all the way up to ridiculous amounts on asbestos abatements. And it's usually because something went wrong, so not because something went right. But we've also spent very, very low on asbestos abatements. We spent like as low as $3,000 to get asbestos removed from an entire house on an entire siding on a project. And we've also spent up to $20,000 on asbestos abatement situations that haven't always gone well. So I hope that answers your question. But any other questions?
Nope.
Outside of that, so I'm wrapping up here. So some numbers on this house really quick. We went over it before. But we did buy this project for $155,000. We are estimating $100,000, even though we think we're only going to put 80 into it. And we believe that's going to be worth $335 once we're all done with the actual ADU, right? Now, as far as the house itself, I'm very confident we can rent this out between $1,500 to $1,600 a month for the house, because we already have 2-bedroom, 1-bath houses in this area that rent out for $1,600 to $1,700 a month in our own portfolio. This ADU, I know I could rent out for probably about $1,000 a month in this market. Right, so we go from, now if we leave it a garage, I think the max I can get for this is maybe $1,750, right? That adds another $1,000 to the rental, maybe $900 depending on what it averages out, which is a way better investment, considering that this isn't going to cost me more than maybe about $30,000 tops to get this to be an ADU. So worth it. Other than that, we'll spell out the numbers another day. We'll review this project another day. If you guys have any questions on anything, you guys can follow me, Fixated Real Estate. You can also follow me, Tarl Yarber, on Instagram. We are, as an announcement, we are going to do something on our end as an online event with some very, very, very big speakers. Not speakers, but people we really respect in the industry to kind of talk more about the market as well. So be on the lookout for that. Follow us on Instagram if you want to find out more info. On top of that, we'll make sure you like, comment, subscribe, BiggerPockets. And the good news is BiggerPockets conference is not till October. So by the time that happens, you guys might want to get out of your houses and go join the conference with us and go meet some investors and have a good time. And now more than ever, I think as a community, we should be talking to each other and building positivity into each other and doing the best to kind of get through this together as much as possible and share ideas without living in fear. So after that, I'm signing off. We'll see you guys on the next one.